Top of the SportsMax Zone for this Tuesday, 400-meter hurdles world champion and record holder Leighton Mclaughlin Lebron and the world's best pole vaulter, Mondo Duplantis, have been named World Athletics of the Year Track and Field's governing body Performers of the Year. Mclaughlin Lebron topped a field of outstanding women, including Jamaican sprint superstar Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Venezuela's triple jump queen Yulimar Rojas, and world 100-meter hurdles champion and record holder Oluwatobi Loba Toby. You may know her as Toby Amasan. Duplantis was the heavy favorite for the men's title following a barnstorming season in which he broke the world record 3 times, won 2 global titles, and bested the field in 18 of 19 competitions contested. The 23-year-old American-born Swede duly obliged to win the crown. 2 Jamaicans, triple jumper Jaden Hibbert and sprint hurdler Kerika Hill, lost out in the voting for Rising Star Award. The award going to 2 18-year-olds, American sprinter Arian Knighton and the Serbian javelin thrower Adriana Vilago. Our in-house track and field expert, Leighton Levy, joins us now to discuss whether World Athletics made the right choices this year. Leighton, welcome. And did they?
Pretty much. I think the only one that was out of left field for me, I don't know what the rest of the world was thinking, was the javelin under 20 winner, Vilago, who won. She was winning her second World Under 20 title this year in
maybe for the Rising Star Award.
Yeah,
right.
In Colombia. I think that may have probably put her over the top, but I do believe, honestly believe, that Kerika Hill was in with a good shot of winning that title, but primarily because of her accomplishments this year. 1271, 1277 at the World Under 20 Championships. She was a member of Jamaica's 4x1 relay team that set a new world record. And she had, I think, the top 6 fastest times in the world this year at that level. And I thought that those performances would have put her in for the running, but apparently those who matter didn't think the same.
Yeah. But since you start there with the Rising Stars, which is the under 20 division, significant that both award winners will be juniors next year as well, which tells you that they are overachieving as 18-year-olds.
Absolutely, and it goes back again to looking at how the talent is developed across the board now, because we're looking at the talent that not just the winners, but the people who were also in that running are still pretty young. I mean, Tembogo, for example, new world record, he broke the under 20 world record twice this year, which I thought would have made him a strong contender for the medal. But when you look at the talent around all of the winners, it's track and field has a lot of talent coming through. And it's something encouraging for the sport. And I just hope that the people who are in charge of it begin to do the things that will allow the wealth to spread to all of these different athletes from all across these disciplines. Because that's one of the greatest feelings of track and field. The development of the talent is not an issue. What is the distribution of wealth. And I think that it's only fair that the youngsters will benefit from the largest of what World Athletics will have planned in the future.
Yeah, well, before we get into the big guns, just round up the under 20s and the Rising Stars with Arian Knighton. Tremendous talent. Physically still, as far as I'm concerned, very underdeveloped, breaking Usain Bolt's records and so on, and pretty much a shoe-in for this one.
Yeah, listen, 1949, whether or not, I don't think it's been ratified yet, but 1949 is 1949. It's ridiculous that somebody that young, people forget, Arian Knighton turned 18 January. So come January this year, there's not a month, he'll be 19. What he's done and what he's been doing at this age and before this age is absolutely mind-blowing. I think I mentioned before on the zone here, where at the start of last year, Usain Bolt had, I think, the top 6-7 times in the world at the under 20 level. At the end of last season, he had from 7 to 10. At the end of this season, he has 1 time left among the top 10 of all time. The other times belong to who? Arian Knighton. And he just turned, I mean, he's going to be 19, but at the time, he was just about 18 years old. He's ridiculous in terms of the talent that he's been able to deliver so far, while he's still developing as an athlete.
You made up, when we spoke about the nominees, when we had the long list and then we had the short list, because this is now the 3rd discussion we're having on the World Athletics Awards. And you've been consistent in what you, based on your experience and your knowledge, what you predict the adjudicators of these awards would do for the big awards. And you laid out the formula, made a very convincing case as to why you felt that McLaughlin and Leveron would have gotten the nod among the women. But again, I have to ask, because for me, where performances are concerned, I don't think any matrix that you could draw could serve up another winner of the Performances of the Year award apart from McLaughlin Leveron. But when you consider in totality the calendar year that was track and field 2022, and not just because I'm Jamaican, but I think that what Fraser-Pryce did, remember, she is not 23 years old. She's not 25, she's not 27, she's not 30, she's not 32. She's not having an Indian summer, because this is sustained excellence from the moment she announced herself to this point. But at the age that she does the things that she has done, it's not a case of we having never seen this before. Really and truly, this shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be hitting 10 sixes consistently at this age. And for the number of 10 sixes that she could, well, you said it, she could run 10 6 at will this season. That she could buy a bottle of milk and it would be 10 6 on the clock. I'm saying, Leighton, that I still feel as if Performance of the Year, one of the world record runs, or the three of them, give Sydney that. But the athlete who had the best 2022, when you put everything into consideration, I think Fraser-Pryce has a right, Leighton, to feel as if, they did me dirty.
Yeah, well, and just for the listeners who might not be clear, Shelly Fraser-Pryce at 35 became the oldest woman to win a world title in the 100 meters. She's the first and only track and field athlete to win 5 gold medals in the same running event across the history of the World Championships that started in 1983. She's the only woman to run 7 times under 7 seconds in the same season. In fact, her stretch has never been done before. So on that basis, George, you're absolutely right. But one of the things that I do know how these people, the trends of the thinking you see over the years, world records count, and they count heavily when it comes to these events and to these decisions. And Sydney McLaughlin ran 7 races this year, and 2 of those times were world records. She was the first woman to run under 52 seconds for the 400-meter hurdles, and the first woman to run under 51 seconds. Those performances, I thought, just tilted it in her favor, given that they are both world records. And I remember I mentioned at the time we had that previous discussion, the world record in the women's 100 meters and the 200 meters hangs like an albatross around the neck of the
It's almost like a chasing ghosts.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that we've had you for these 3 discussions because of expertise. But I put this one to you. Yeah? What about a case being made for inconsistent application of the rules by the adjudicators? Because in the previous season, with Elaine Thompson-Hira and what she did, and there were world record performances put down.
From McLaughlin.
Exactly. The same matrix wasn't used to come to the result of McLaughlin being Athlete of the Year.
Yeah.
So, reason that one out for me.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Because under pressure. We know you didn't vote for the awards, but you have the tough job of explaining.
I know. The thing about it is this. I think what Elaine did last year, I think, caught many by surprise. We'd never seen a woman run 10.5 before legally. I mean, beyond Flojo's 10.49, no woman had run 10.5 before legally. Flojo ran 10.54, a 3.4 win, I think it was. And then Elaine broke an Olympic record. She broke the Olympic record, and she ran 10.54 in Oregon. I mean, 10.61, which the IAAF in their own report in 1994 says that should have been the world record, the 10.62 that Flojo ran in Seoul. So Elaine actually broke the unofficial world record, and then she came back and ran 10.54.
At least you're consistent with that. Go ahead, yes.
So I think that probably weighed in her favor, and the fact that she became, at the time, she set a new record which Shelly Fraser-Pryce broke this year, 4 times under 10.7 in the same season. Yeah. To go along with the Olympic title, to go along with the Diamond League title, I think that probably swayed it.
Could it be too as well, George, that the Olympic gold weighs more heavily than a world championship gold?
That's the thing.
Because I have to wonder about the inconsistency, as you just mentioned.
And she had 3 Olympic gold medals as well.
But question for you. Well, for sure, the Olympic gold and in devastating fashion. Yes, but hold on, man. I'm saying, gentlemen, the difficult thing for us as analysts and commentators, we have the difficult job of making a judgment while something is happening. We don't have the luxury of the armchair fan of waiting until something has happened to say, well, this, that. Our job is to judge before, which is why we get it wrong sometimes. Yeah. If 5-10 years in the future, 2032, 2027, gentlemen, and we're looking back at 2022, and who put together the best sequence of performances that caused the jaw to drop every time in 2022, nobody can convince me that S. McLaughlin Lever Road will be on the minds and lips of people if they're asked that question. It will be S. Fraser-Pryce for what happened in 2022.
But only because of the event that Shelley runs.
But it's not her fault.
No.
In the same way, it's not her fault that the 100 meters world record is a ghost record.
Yeah.
That you can't legally
it's also
touch.
not McLaughlin's fault that she competes in an event that is not
unfashionable.
Yes, that's something.
Yeah.
Well, it's not unfashionable anymore, actually, because the last couple of years.
Compared to the 100.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything feels in comparison to the 100.
So I'm just saying that I find it. Look, you heard, I was consistent in a gentleman because I said there's no doubt if you want to talk about performances of the year or performance of the year, you pick one of the world records, pick anyone, jaw dropping. But for what the portfolio, if someone said, let me see your portfolio for 2022, Fraser-Pryce puts hers on the table. Yeah. I struggle to think of anything in 2022, man or woman, that comes close to that.
Yeah, and you're right. I can't disagree with that point because, I remember Atta and I talking, Atta Bolden, after she ran the final 10-7 in the Diamond League final in Zurich. Yes. And he said these were his words. The greatest single season by any female sprinter in history. That's what he said to me. And I couldn't disagree.
Can't win a Tita of the year?
Yeah. Well, I can say that George is being consistent because when we had this discussion last year, previewing who the award would have gone to, George pretty much said it's Elaine Thompson as a shoo-in. I suggested that McLaughlin is in the conversation. Not that she should have won, but she's in the conversation based on her world record and her Olympic titles and so on. George didn't agree. He felt that Elaine Thompson hero, shoo-in, no competition. So George is being consistent by putting the marker that based on what Shelley-Ann did this year, which is equivalent to what, in many ways, to what Elaine Thompson hero did last year, for consistency, it should have been Shelley-Ann. But I felt last year, George, that Cyril McLaughlin should have been in the conversation.
And you said so, yes.
And I thought so. And I think you agreed when we spoke
as well,
with you as well. Not that she should have won, but I think it was not straightforward as far, because to me, world records count.
Yeah, but what I think outweighed everything last year for Elaine was the 3 gold medals in Tokyo. It's not often that anybody wins 3 gold medals in any single Olympiad. So,
and in the manner.
And the manner in which she did it. So, it's that I think is what weighed in her favour. But Mondo Duplantis, because I know we're running out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time,
was a show-in from morning. I mean, indoor, outdoor records, losing one event all year.
No contest there.
And people of our vintage, Double L would remember Sergei Bubka and think that Sergei Bubka was the man.
Yeah.
Well,
Duplantis has supplanted him now as the best ever.
Yeah, well, we've got to leave it there.
Take it easy, guys.
And great having you on the SportsMax Zone to talk track and field as usual.
We need to put Leighton on the judging panel for that thing.
Yeah, I think he appears. I think he appears on the show a couple of times before the week is out as well.
Yes, he does.
So we're not saying goodbye for the week, are we?
Leighton for the World Athletics panel.
Break time.